Okay, guys, welcome back to the Let's Get Freaky podcast. If you have had any paranormal or wild experiences you would like to share on the show, please get in touch. Email let's get freaky podcast at mail.com. We would love to hear your story. You can also reach us on social media: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube at TC Let's Get Freaky Podcast. Give us a follow and message us there, and we will get straight back to you. I've got a fantastic guest returning tonight. The Freaky Fam absolutely loved you last time you was here. It was episode 360, and I called the episode "Beware of the Boogers." It was absolutely fantastic. We've got Mr. Greg Ogles back. How are you, my brother? Thank you so much for coming back, man.
Yeah, I'm doing great, Tommy. Thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it.
I've been looking forward to this since we last talked. I pretty much
Mhm.
arranged this straight after we finished. You left us. You gave us a little teaser at the end that there was a lot more, and I was like, oh man, I
Mhm.
cannot wait to talk to you again. So I really appreciate your time. I know you're a very busy man. You're a filmmaker. You are an engineer. You are a cryptid
Mhm.
researcher. What have I missed? What else are you?
Well, Tommy, other than being the occasional dunce,
I'm with you there, bro.
I think you covered it all. Yeah, I think you covered it all.
My wife will tell
But
you I'm the same.
so would mine. So at least our wives agree on something.
Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing that they can agree with.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
can
Their
all agree on.
husbands are
Yeah,
are big dunces
yeah.
sometimes, but no.
Mm.
Oh, no, I do kid, but I am actually quite busy with filming and of course my normal career. I don't know too many people that can actually make a career out of just, hunting the boogers and the ghosties and things like that. There's a
Hmm.
few that do it, and God bless them. But it's very difficult to make a full career out of that.
Hmm.
But, I do try my best to put out a good quality film
Hmm.
and just show people what we experience and show things that show people that, the things that people experience is real
Hmm.
you know. So,
Absolutely.
and trying to make it as entertaining as possible.
Hmm.
So
I think you,
there's a good balance there.
I
Yeah,
think you could
yeah.
make a full career out of this. I really do. I mean, your films are quality, and the kind of results that you get are amazing as well. And I know we're going to get into that today. And last time you was on the podcast, you shared some fascinating experiences, terrifying, some of them,
Mhm.
quite scary.
So, yeah, some of them could, at the time, some of them were quite terrifying, especially my encounter there at the Land Between the Lakes with Adam Davis and there were several others there that encountered that unfortunate that unfortunate Bigfoot experience. Uh, but in retrospect, I kind of look at some of our experiences that we have, and even though they are kind of scary to us at the moment, I sometimes wondered, do these things really mean us harm? Is it really scary, so to speak? And are we just misinterpreting what they're really trying to do?
Hmm.
There's been several times where I've been out like ghost hunting, and I've been like scratched on the back, several times. And at first, some people like would characterize that as an attack or something, right? Because you're seeing whelps come up on you and even sometimes even blood, right? But what if they're just trying to say, hey, hey, I'm
Hmm.
here,
Hmm. Like a cat.
what if they're just trying to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 what, they're just playing, the same with the Bigfoots. And I won't go too much into the Land Between the Lakes encounter because I think I did it last time. But they could have had us if they wanted us, and I say they because there was more than one, and they let that know because one of them threw a rock at me. Like
Hmm.
we're facing one, right, and then another one throws a rock at us, and I think they did that to say, hey, gotcha. If
Yeah.
we wanted you, gotcha.
But these
So
things seem to be so much more. I mean, they're on another level to us in their natural habitat. Obviously,
Mhm.
we can't touch
Oh,
them.
obviously, yeah,
If
yeah,
they
yeah.
wanted to wipe us out, they could in seconds. Seemingly, these things
Mhm.
seem to be very
They
intelligent.
could.
And if they did want to harm us, as I say, in most situations where you hear people coming across these creatures, it can be scary. Like your experiences were scary, but
Mm.
you don't normally get harmed. I mean, I'm not saying in every case because I'm sure if these things did
Right.
actually attack you, you're probably not going to live to tell the tale, which is maybe what the missing 411 is. Quite maybe some of those cases.
Exactly. Hmm.
You wouldn't know. You're just going to vanish without a trace, like the
Yeah,
name
exactly.
of your film that we'll get into.
Like the vanished, right. You know, you know, speaking of that, even in our news, our government has recently said that they were going to declassify a lot of the UFO files, right? So, and since then, a lot of our scientists have been like disappearing, just
Hmm.
woof. And there was one that intrigues me, just because it seemed so much like some of those the people that we covered in the film The Vanished, where the scientist was like out on a hike, but with other people. There were other people there, right? And the person in front of the scientist was talking to him. They turned around, as they were walking, but then they turned back around to face the scientist, and she was gone, just poof, gone. I mean, and they were very, within probably just a few feet from each other,
Hmm. Yeah.
and that is very much like how both Dennis Martin and Mike Heron disappeared in the Tennessee mountains
Hmm.
in one of our national parks. And that, to me, that's fascinating because, with massive searches, nothing was ever found of those two. Nothing, not a trace. And during the investigation of those two disappearances, what we had actually filmed was this little blobby, glowy looking floaty thing. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It didn't have like a defined form. I've seen orbs a lot, and orbs are almost always spherical, right?
Hmm.
And this thing was not really spherical. It was kind of blobby looking, very amorphous, right? And once it was noticed, boom, it just took off, right? And there's this old American Indian legend. It's called the legend of the Raven Mocker. I'm not going to say its true name because from their perspective, if you say its name, you call it toward you, right?
Hmm.
So anyway, I'm going to respect that legend as I'm part Cherokee too.
I think I
So
know what the name is, but I won't say it. But I think I know what the name is.
right, and I'm not going to, right. So anyway, but the English term for it is the raven mocker, and essentially it's an energy vampire. And what by tradition or by legend, it had hunted people, and uh, those people had vanished, and it's said to have taken their life essence so that it could live longer, much again like a vampire would.
Hmm.
So, but also in that legend, they said if you see it and you like confront it'll flee. That acted just like what we had caught on camera. So, and I fully think that this phenomena is not limited to the Southeast in America or even America in general. I think these phenomena is all over.
Hmm.
These could be worldwide, and they just go by different names in different locations.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because quite often
but
people are experiencing the same stuff. It's
right,
just called something different depending on where you are in the world. I know there's different in the US. There's different names for these things, these creatures, these legends, these laws, but all
Mhm.
over the world it's the same. But they're pretty predominantly the same kind of things happening. That's what's so fascinating about this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I, I think right now our technology that's available to the general public, we're just now getting to where we can actually film some of these things. So I think that we actually captured something that's that's incredible,
Hmm.
And if somebody else just has knowledge that these things exist and they're able to look around, maybe they're able to save their own life uh, just by being knowledgeable about what's there,
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Did the one
um,
that you caught, did that shoot off into the atmosphere or did it kind of
it did. It did.
Ah,
It did.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. It shot off. Once it was noticed, poof, it shot off, and it didn't return.
Hmm.
However, what was interesting about that is that just prior to when we had started filming, my camera guy, Jim, he had fallen very ill, and he had this uh, nausea and dizziness and lots of this other phenomena that we call it being zapped out here. When you're out investigating, people get zapped, and it comes with nausea, uh, disorientation, dizziness. Um, Sometimes it's an enormous fear that comes over you. But that had happened to Jim, and he had laid down, kind of grounded himself a little bit, and he was the one who had noticed the raven marker. So we think that was it hunting him? You
Interesting.
know,
Yeah.
and right. We had also picked up these interesting metal sounds, these little tap 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 sounds. Of course, now we were miles deep in the woods. There's no metal out there. Um, Especially like somebody with clanging some pans or something around, there was none of that there. So it was interesting. Are those two phenomena related? It's like it is when something comes into our reality from another dimension or something, does it make a sound, like these metal sounds, that's so that's a question to be asked and maybe one day to be answered.
Mhm. A lot of people do say that the possible sound of a portal opening sounds like a metal
Mhm.
gate. You hear people say that quite a lot.
Mhm.
That seems to be a common
Mhm.
theme. So yeah, it's very possible, man. That
Yeah, go ahead.
scientist that went missing recently. Was it a lady scientist, that one? That just vanished
Yes.
while she was on a
Yes.
hike with her
Yes.
friends. And there was no
Right.
trace of her whatsoever.
Nope. Not a trace.
That's so strange.
A- And, there's no other way to put it. If it was an animal, there would be some debris
Yeah.
left.
Well, surely you would
You know,
hear something, a scream.
something. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just incredible that, you can be talking to somebody, turn around, take a few steps, turn back around, and poof, they're gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That just baffles my intellectuals. I can't comprehend that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And do we know
but
what
I
field
do.
she was kind of in? Sorry, man.
Oh, she was in the. I don't know exactly what she was in. She was a physicist of some sort.
Hmm. High
Uh,
up. They all seem to be quite high up and
yeah, yeah.
extremely
And
intelligent.
very much involved with the UFO stuff, and either physicist or nuclear scientist, one of the two, because there's been a lot of nuclear scientists and physicists to all go disappearing,
It's so
and
strange.
they all seem to revolve around this element 115. So,
Oh, which is the Bob Lazar, what Bob Lazar
right.
first came out when he was
Yes.
sharing his experiences. Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I do have a theory about it. I do think that it's nefarious activities that not necessarily our government, but private contractors are they see they're threatened by the disclosure because their cash cow would disappear. So they would rather people disappear that would have knowledge of these UFOs and this other technology that is going to one day bring them lots and lots and lots of money. So I think it's got a lot to do with that,
Hmm.
rather than like UFOs disappearance. And I don't necessarily think it may be some people in our government because there are some people who don't want it out at all. But again, I think it all goes back to power and money.
Hmm.
These people want power and money, and they don't want to share. So
Hmm.
that's what I think it boils down to.
And it kind of seems like, because we're obviously
So.
we're in a world now where the normal man can kind of see this kind of stuff just by going online and having these kinds of conversations. And it's kind of like now that it's got to a point where they literally don't care that we that we know that there's people that are out
Mhm.
there that are untouchable. They're literally untouchable. We've seen it,
Mhm.
don't go too deep, but the E files, the Epstein files, things like that. There are guys out there that are clearly
Mhm.
untouchable that we know of. There's probably people above them, which are even worse. It's terrifying, man. That's kind of, does it worry you that we
Mhm.
kind of look into this stuff? We're kind of on the border
Well, it is frustrating. I can tell you that because these same crimes that were committed in these Epstein files, if the everyday guy goes out and commits that, oh man, they're locked up
oh,
or if not executed for.
hmm
And here are some of these very rich. I'm not going to call them elites because they're not elites; they're just criminals.
agreed.
They
Yeah.
do it and they get away with it.
Hmm.
And it's frustrating, because justice is supposed to be blind and it's supposed to come to everybody equally. And that is clearly not the case.
Hmm. 100%, man. It's very frustrating, as you say, very frustrating because yeah, it's a two-tier justice system, 100%, all over the world. This is a big problem that we
Yeah.
have.
I truly, I don't think it's, um, uh, it's just the United States. I think it's everywhere.
Hmm. Oh,
So
100%.
it is, yeah. And I think it's unfortunate, you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm. Hmm.
but on to probably more brighter things in
Yeah,
the
let's
world.
go.
We just got through filming another film, and this one was a little bit different than my normal films. I normally go cryptids. However, I took my hand at a ghost film or paranormal film, strictly paranormal. And we
Nice.
had some really interesting results. Yes, we had some very good results. It was originally going to be titled Three Nights of Terror, and there was no terror involved. I'm sorry. There just wasn't. However, but we had things that where and I'm not going to call them ghosts because I don't know that they're ghosts. I don't know what they were, but they were just say entities, right? They were non-human entities. Let's just say that. They were non-human entities that would almost on command would reply to us. We had some equipment like this little bell and the little cat balls that glow. You move it and it kind of lights up, glows, and a meter that glows when an EM field is close, right? So um, I would ask, okay, and kind of back up just a little bit. I've got a I've got an entity that follows me around. She sort of protects me from some of the bad things. And I've not kind of known about this for a little while, and it's good to have conversations with. But in essence, we're all never alone, right? But I just happen to know the one of the ones that's kind of with me, right? So anyway, I call her Jen, Gin, because it's been known to me that, or it's been relayed to me that she's a Jen, a DJ, INN. So I call her Jen, Gin. Anyway, so I'm you know, we're sitting there in a parlor in a very old house, and we're just having fun. And of course, we're recording all this time. And I let everybody know. I said, "Hey, I got a Jen with me, and I was just telling them about her." And they're like, "Well, can you get her to do anything?" And I'm like, I don't know, we'll see. And I said, "Hey Jen, if you're around, if you don't mind like helping us out, can you make one of these things active, one of our pieces of equipment?" Sure enough, a little bell goes off, ding, and the little cat ball glows, and the EMF detector goes off. They all go off at the same time, right? And it was like amazing. It was freaking amazing. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, And there was another funny moment where I actually, Jen was taking up for this other young lady that I was sort of teasing. I said, "Well, you need therapy, right?" And and everybody was like, "No, she doesn't need therapy." And I'm like, "Yes, she does." Anyway, so I'm asking Jen. I said, "Jen, if she needs therapy, we won't ring this bell." And then I said, "Wait, whoa, 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 wait a minute, Jen," because I didn't think that there was going to be a response. So I changed it. I said, "Hey, Jen, if you think she needs therapy, if you think she needs therapy, do not ring the bell." Right? So guess what happened immediately after I said that? Ding. Meaning she does not need therapy, right? So so I asked Janet, "Hey, if you think she needs therapy, do not ring the bell." So I was trying to, thinking nothing was going to happen, but guess what? Ding, and everything else lit up and everything. It was a fabulous moment, all caught
Wow.
on camera.
Wow.
All caught on camera. Never get lost
How
there.
can you explain that? You know, there's no you're getting an
Well,
instant
I know Jen's
response.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
I know
I
Jen's
mean for
there.
for
I do.
skeptics,
Yeah, I
because
really do.
we got skeptics out there when they see stuff like that and they're like, oh, there must be, but you can't explain when stuff like that happens. Like when
Mhm.
you're talking for a spirit box and it says something that's like incredibly personal that no one else would know or something like that. When you get those sort of cases, it's so interesting, man. So when did you first
Mhm.
realize you had
Oh,
Jen?
absolutely.
When did you first realize she was a
Well,
part of you?
I was doing a podcast. I was doing a podcast with this lady named Tilly Treadwell, and
Oh,
she's
I know
an
Tilly. Yeah.
intermediary.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. She's very good, very, very good. But anyway, so as we were talking, she said that there was an entity that communicated with her and said that she hangs out with me. In other words, my Jen had told her that she hangs out with me. She can hear them, right? And at first, I was like very, very skeptical. I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And I said, "Well, can you get Jen to tell me anything about the house?" And she described, I have a very unique laundry room. It's very large. And, I have like two dryers and a washer, and it's a very large washroom, right? So she described it to a T perfectly. And I was like, ooh. And then I have a very unique kitchen with a very unique countertop and all that. Described it to a T. I mean, just you couldn't get a better description than what she had told me. And I was like, wow, so maybe there is something, maybe there is something to this, right?
Hmm.
And there was one time where I had lost my keys and I was looking for them, looking for them, looking for them. And then out of the blue, Tilly calls me and says, they're in the laundry room.
No way. Tilly called you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Tilly called me because the gin told her where to find them, where I
That
could find
is
my keys.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that happened. She's very good. And that is what really led me into putting her into the film The Vanished,
Hmm.
because I was like, wow, if they're able to communicate with her for these things. Maybe they could help me out on this investigation with Dennis Martin, right? And for those that don't know, Dennis Martin was a kid who was like 7 years old. He disappeared in 1969 in the Tennessee National Forest, the Great Smoky Mountains. Uh, Nothing was ever found of him, ever. But anyway, um, you know, her and Jessica Jones, this other remote viewer named Jessica
Hmm.
Jones,
Yeah.
she has a show called The Cryptid Huntress. Very, she's very good too. Very
She's
good
awesome.
remote viewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very good remote viewer. So I had both of those in my film, and they were remote viewed at completely separate times. They didn't even know about each other, like being in the film, right? So they both came up with very, very, very similar um, uh, um, explanations about what happened to Dennis Martin. And it was really, really interesting that both of those just completely separately had nearly identical, nearly
Wow.
identical information that, and a lot of that information was not known to the public. And I was able to procure some information that had never been released to the public. And
Wow.
I had put that in the film, and
That is wild.
yeah, their results really corresponded with the files that nobody had ever seen before.
Were they using the same technique? Or they, because I know Jessica uses
So-
remote viewing.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not sure what Tilly does. I'm not sure how Tilly was it a similar
Till,
kind
T-
of
Tilly does something similar where she kind of, and I actually show this in the film. She allowed us to show her technique where Um, she like would put her head down on a table and just kind of I would kind of liken it to meditation, right?
Mhm.
So she goes into like a meditative state and starts drawing what they're telling her, and it's incredible. She just draws out what they're telling her, and it's very much like a remote viewer would do, I would think,
Mhm.
except she's saying that she's just listening to these other entities, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
That
Whereas
is
a remote,
fascinating,
yeah,
man.
yeah, whereas a remote viewer sees these things like in their mind, and they draw things as they see them, right?
Hmm.
So,
Have
but techniques are similar.
That's so interesting. Have you heard of JJ Rose 777?
I have not.
So I had a similar. JJ's great. She's a white witch, very interested lady, and she can do some of these. She has these abilities as well. And I was
Mhm.
kind of I believe everyone, but I was still, I'm still quite skeptical sometimes of these things, which I think you
Mhm.
should be as well. But JJ proved to me that she could do something that was like I just couldn't believe, basically. So there was something weird going on in my house, and at the time, JJ was like, if anything weird happens, I can reach out to her and ask her for advice or whatever. So I
Mhm.
kind of told her what happened, and she's in California. I'm in the UK, and I don't put my house, the layout of my house anywhere. You can't find it online. I don't film inside my house very much and stuff like that. So there's no way she could have known my house, right?
Mhm.
Nobody would have known. So I reached out to her, told her what happened in my house, and she was like, "I'm coming over." Right? I'm like, okay, coming from from California, that's fine. Let's go. But she means instantly. She's coming over to have a
Right.
look. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see. Okay, well, I'm not fully convinced, but she started explaining the layout of my house. Go up your stairs, turn left, your room's there, this room's there. Started, as you said, the layout of my kitchen, which, I know some
Mhm.
kitchens are similar, but she was picking out on things that were like, how does she know? It's incredible. So there are people out there that can do that, man, and it blows my
Oh,
mind.
absolutely, yes. Um, and although I can't, I don't have quite the abilities that some of these other ones do. I think everybody has these abilities to some degree.
Hmm.
And I think if you hone them, you can get better and better at it. But some, they're like pretty much everybody can run, right? It's just some people are can run faster than others, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's the same with these abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like one of my techniques when I go out, call it boogering, uh, is I will meditate beforehand. I'll meditate before I go out, and I'll meditate when I get to the location. And um, lately, I say lately, within the last couple of 3 years, I've gotten to where I can feel if there's one around, right? I don't know how to describe it.
Hmm.
It's like you just know, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and I can detect their locations, like they're this way or they're that way. Um, and I recently, this past weekend, I just got back from going on expedition, right? And we were using dowsing rods to, channel other entities. I called up Jen, and just for baselines, I said, "Hey Jen, can you point toward Natalie?" And then do a whoop, point straight to Natalie, and can you point toward Melissa? And then go whoop, straight to Melissa. And I said, "Okay, Jen, can you, if you don't mind helping us, can you show us where, or is there any Sasquatch here first?" And it would cross over, cross, and that would indicate yes. And I would say, well, is there anything inherently evil here? And then go psh, and outwards for no, there's nothing inherently evil. And I said, okay, well, if there's Sasquatch here and there's nothing inherently evil, if you don't mind helping us, can you show me the direction they are? And then he'd show me right, they would point right in these woods where they would be, right? And we moved on down the road maybe a half mile. That would be about a kilometer, right? A
Hmm.
little over a kilometer. Um, and we do it again. And this thing, saying all the same answers except, hey, can you point toward where the Sasquatch would be? And it kind of goes the other way, but right in toward the forest. And it does it every time. It's not like it, I asked Jen multiple times, uh, again, can you point toward where the Sasquatch are? And he goes, "Shoot, right there." So we decided we would kind of hunker down right there and investigate there that night. Um, so while I'm there, I'll go into like a meditative state, and I'll try to reach out to whatever's there. Uh, and I'm hoping I'm getting in contact with a Sasquatch. Now I still I can't like do any kind of telepathy or anything like that, but I can sense a presence, and I did sense a presence. And what was really creepy was that I felt them crawling up on us, not like walking, do 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 do. It was like they were crawling, like doing the spider crawl thing.
Hmm.
And I don't know why that just freaks me out so much when I see things falling like that. It's so inhuman,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm.
It's very much inhuman. Um, so I have started to do that in the last several years, and I will say that meditating has increased my activity level that we experience tenfold, at least at minimum, tenfold.
Hmm.
So we did have some activity this past weekend, not anything to write home about, but we did have some activity, absolutely.
Noises and smells and things like that.
Hmm. Yeah, noises, smells. There was several occasions where we had like a skunky type smell, and of course we do have skunks, but it was a skunky, musky type smell. Uh, that from my experience, that usually indicates that they're not happy with you being there.
Hmm.
And what another lady in my group, her name's Natalie Smearman. She had picked up on that there was a young one there that they were protecting and that they didn't want us there. So that
Interesting.
kind of trends with that skunky smell, you know. I
Hmm.
think that's like a defense mechanism, kind of like what skunks do, you know. They don't want you around. Hey, they'll spray that spray, and you know, I'm hoping that you'll leave, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
without having to take any further measures. And I really think that's what these Bigfoots do as well.
Hmm. Hmm. It
Um,
makes sense.
and I think
So many people
yeah.
experience that when they're looking for these
Hmm.
creatures. So many people say that
Hmm.
smell is it's sometimes overwhelming, you know?
Hmm.
As you say, a skunk can
Uh,
do that, but I've never smelled a
yeah,
skunk,
and I
so I
think the
don't know
Sasquatch
exactly.
can do that too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think Sasquatch can do that, and I think they can do it on command. I don't necessarily think that they just smell that way, right? Otherwise, it would be very difficult to hide. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm.
if your smell travels, you know, a kilometer away from you, it's very hard to hide. You know, especially from dogs. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
for sure. I wonder if it's like a
yeah.
Sasquatch fart. Sorry to lower the tone, but what if
It
if
could
they,
be,
it could be just a really bad.
but seriously, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Oh my
I mean, it
God.
could be.
Sasquatch part.
Has anyone ever said that before?
It could be,
Has
you
anyone
know?
ever put that out there before?
No, no,
Am I the first? That's interesting
no,
though that you
no.
saw these things like in like the
You're
mind's
the
eye.
first.
I'm the first to say that. That's my thing now. It might be a fart. But it's weird that you kind of,
Hmm.
would you say in your mind's eye, like how a psychic works, you saw these creatures sort of coming towards you.
Hmm.
That's pretty terrifying. And I know you've experienced
Crawling.
things like
Yeah,
that you've
crawling.
seen. So, that's obviously in your mind as well. But that is a scary,
Hmm.
that's a scary thought, man, that these things are, because so many people describe the spider crawl and these things move unnatural to us. So many people describe these things as moving in a way that we just can't comprehend, and that the spider crawl is very strange. People can't move like that unless
Hmm.
you're like a skilled circus worker. You might be able to do that, but not
Right.
many people can do that. I know I certainly couldn't. That's for sure. But that is interesting, man.
There's probably just a handful of people on the planet that could move like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, that through the mind's eye, that's kind of what I detected, right?
Hmm.
And you know, and like I say, that it's really increased my ability or encounters like tenfold. You know, so if you're going out boogering, I highly suggest that you meditate beforehand, clear your mind, and just concentrate on the moment, you know, and make because I promise you, your eyes and your ears will miss a lot.
Hmm.
And that's why I really do like to film everything. We wasn't filming this one encounter because I just gotten through filming, and I'm behind editing on two films already. I'm not going to start another one yet. So so. But I do like to film because your eyes miss so much.
Hmm.
And I encourage you, like, if you're going out boogering, take a camera with you. You know, if you got a body cam, just strap on a body cam, put one behind you too, and because you'd be surprised what you can catch behind you.
Hmm.
Um, you know, it's amazing that you know they might peek out from a tree or even like stand on a trail behind you, and you just will never know that they're there.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I encourage your audience going out boogering, carry a camera with you.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's not always boogers that you might catch. You might catch other entities as well. You might catch a ghost.
Hmm.
You get EVPs sometime because there was in the second film, The Land Between the Lakes that I did. We caught EVPs on camera, uh, and I thought that was interesting. That was fun.
Can you tell us
So
what some of the
you
things you
never
had?
know what you're getting. Well, it was undistinguishable, but I do know that there was one EVP that we caught that was very much distinguishable. Yeah, for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. But we didn't we elected not to use that one just because there were other people in another room that were talking at the same time.
Hmm.
Even though we could distinguish what voices were what, if an audience was watching it, they would not know the difference, right? So
Hmm.
for those reasons, we elected not to use the one EVP that you could clearly understand.
Hmm.
The other ones were just indistinct noise. Well, it was some a language, but you can't quite make out what it is exactly.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's a different language or if it was just something that's just a noise
Hmm.
that they made, right? So, and I didn't edit that one. I had an editor, Brent Magoo. He used to edit, and now he's gone on to bigger and better things. So, I'm stuck with the editing process now. Thousands of hours behind the computer and just, putting things together. So, but I
It's
didn't
tough
edit that.
work.
So I didn't. Oh
Ed
my gosh,
Editing's
yes,
tough, man. It's tough because you've got to convert.
it
You've probably
is.
got hours and hours and hours of footage that you've got to fit into hour, 2 hours maybe, and it's difficult, man. And you
Mm-hmm,
also, as you said, we miss
mm-hmm,
stuff. We miss stuff with our naked eye, and
yes.
stuff gets captured that
Mm-hmm.
we may not have realized. So I speak to many
Oh,
paranormal
absolutely.
paranormal researchers that have this problem that they have hours of footage to go through every investigation, and they
Mm-hmm,
might not get a lot, but they might have something that's incredible. So they have to look at everything. I
mm-hmm,
totally get it.
mm-hmm.
You mentioned that.
Absolutely. And I want to share one of my encounters with you though.
Hmm.
And
Let's
this is
go.
just a straight out booger encounter, right? We were in the mountains of North Georgia, and um, this place is famous for Sasquatch and having lots of bears, right? Uh, so we're in a bit of a group, maybe 15 people there in camp. That would be in camp. When we go on walkabout, we only take about four with us, right? So. Um, we go out and walkabout. I go out with three other ones. And back at camp is this guy named Paul Halsey. He was my mentor as far as the boogering goes, right? Well, I had already started experiencing disembodied voices. Um, we didn't talk about it a whole much, like on film or anything, but we talked about it amongst ourselves, right? And for those that don't know me, I'm known for a bit of a prankster and just, kind of being silly when I'm out because, well, there's a lot of reasons for it, but if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong,
Absolutely.
period.
Absolutely.
Anyway, yeah. So one of these disembodied voices on another expedition called out this woman who was in our group's name, Janice Nolan, but it was from up under her truck. He did that a couple of times. And I actually heard it later on that night. We confirmed that yes, there's disembodied voices, and it's borrowing my voice for whatever reason. Well, we're in the mountains of North Georgia, right? And Paul hears, "Hey, Paul," come out from behind a an outhouse. Now, we're out primitive camping. There's no electricity, no water, but there is a little tiny shack with a hole in the ground, essentially, where you go to use the bathroom, right? So this thing is wanting Paul to come behind the outhouse, and Paul's like, Greg, you're crazy, but it wasn't me. So I was out on walkabout, and well, the place is known for lots of bears, and we have a FLIR with us. It's a forward-looking infrared camera, right? It's a thermal camera. So um, the lady carrying the FLIR is sees a hot object, and it looked to me, it looks just like a boulder, right? A very, like a boulder just giving off heat, right? And but she thinks, well, maybe it's a bear, so we just kind of stop where we are and just keep the FLIR on this thing, right? And but it's kind of odd shaped. It's kind of got like a point on the top, just kind of looks like that sort of. It's kind of blobby looking. Um, so we got this FLIR on it for about 3 or 4 minutes, and all of a sudden it starts doing this, starts rocking back and forth, and I'm like, "Ooh, rocks don't rock," you know? And I'm like, "Okay, so this is an animal of some sort." And as this thing starts rocking, from our right starts coming the ever perpetual rocks or acorns or whatever it is they were throwing. Very small at first. Not trying to hit us, but throwing us in our direction, trying to distract us, right? And I've already caught on to this trick, right? And I'm like, hey, Angela, do not take this FLIR off this thing right here. I said, if this is a Bigfoot, this is a distraction. So we don't pay any mind to what's happening over here to our right.
Hmm.
And wait, when you don't pay any mind, they get like bolder. They start throwing bigger things, and things start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And finally, when things are he's throwing sticks, yay size. Um, the thing that we get the FLIR on, it stands up. And when it stands up, you could see its face, its long arms. You could see the fingers, the mouth on it, and you could see the nose. Um, we wasn't far from it, we wasn't, but less than 10 meters away from it.
Whoa.
So, yeah. Um, so it stands up, and as soon as it stands up, this giant log, you could hear it when it was launched, right? So they threw a log at us, right? And here it comes through the woods and crashes it, maybe 15 or 20 feet away from us. And it kind of startled Angela, the young lady holding the FLIR. She pulls the FLIR over toward that direction, right? And of course, you can't see anything. And she pulls it right back within 3 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds. The thing's gone. We're spanning all around where can't find it anywhere. Gone within 2 seconds was poof, gone.
We think that was a Sasquatch?
Oh, absolutely, it was a
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when it stood up, we could see it, and it was. I can't say that it was incredibly tall. It was probably in the 7 foot range, Um, but you know what is so interesting about that particular place, other than having a lot of activity, we had orb activity there like you've never seen before.
Hmm.
We encountered orbs that some people, or sometimes orb encounters are very fleeting, they'll be just a streak of something and will sort of resemble a firefly, but they're very different. They're very different. They're much bigger, much more prominent. However, these things didn't go out. They would stay on and would stay with you. They interacted with you. And these things lasted for hours, not just minutes or seconds or hours. So, one encounter there with orbs lasted so long, I got tired. I said to the orbs, hey, dudes, nice hanging out. I'm tired. I'm going back to camp.
Whoa.
And when we go back to camp, here they come following us. So they followed us, not all the way to camp, but a good ways toward camp.
Mm-hmm. What
So
color were they? Can you remember what color they were?
these were white with a blue hue.
Because I've talked to people that have got close to these orbs and they've seen like
Mhm.
little humanoid figures inside, which blows my mind because that, straight away we think fairies, whatever these things are, I don't know. How close
Mhm.
did you get? Could you see anything inside them or
Um,
anything like that?
I have been within arm's reach twice of orbs. They come to you. You don't go to them. They come to you. If
Mm-hmm.
you try to go to them, they'll do one of two things. Uh, they'll disappear, one, or two, they'll move back and keep the same relative distance between you and it. It's like, no, you're not going to approach me, right? It's kind of what they say. But I have been within arm's reach of them twice. And in both of those encounters, the orbs were translucent. You could see through them, perfectly round, probably softball size or less, yay, yay big.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't, they were very quick because they're like buzzing you, right? They're very quick, but I don't recall seeing anything inside them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then again, there could have been there, and both times I was startled, not scared, just startled, and sort of like you turn the corner and there's somebody there that you didn't know was there, right? It kind of startles you just a second. And
Mm-hmm.
it's same thing. So I have been very close to them before, and both times I didn't see a figure on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Difficult question, but what do you think those things are? I know we don't know, but if you had to
Mhm.
kind of,
Right. If I'm going to guess,
hmm
I'm going to guess that they are some of these entities that we see, Bigfoot, um, rakes, some of these other cryptids and other entities in energy form. Because I don't think they're from here. I think they're from some other dimension.
hmm
And the only way to traverse some of these portals safely is an energy form, right? So they get here in an energy form, and then if they can manifest back into a physical form, right?
hmm
So if I had my guesses, that's what I guess that they are.
Interesting, man. Going back to the Bigfoot that you saw as well, could you
Mhm.
remember what the face looked like? Did you get a good look at the
Oh yeah,
face?
yeah. Yeah, eyes were a little bit further apart from what we would have, right? Just a little bit further apart, much bigger. Um, Nose flat, it kind of you would say on a black fella,
hmm
but a little bit more pronounced, right? From what we could tell, and mouths wider than ours, probably 50% wider than ours. You know, um the there was lots of hair like on the beard, so you didn't really get a good look at the chins, right? Because it
hmm
was deflecting some of the heat, so you didn't get a good look at that. But it's their hands are just absolutely enormous. Um, Fingers is pro, pro, I think the relationship between the ratio between the fingers and the palms, like on ours, is they're about equal, right?
hmm
Close to equal. Um, I think their palms are much bigger than their fingers. That
Interesting.
the ratio of their palm size to their finger size is larger, but their palms are like huge.
hmm
Um, and we have figured out that when they travel on all fours, they travel much like a gorilla, like on their hands. They don't crawl like this. They don't do that. They crawl like this. They
hmm
crawl on their knuckles. We when we were making the Vanished, we actually got a good look at a Bigfoot that was crawling. It crawled out in front of us and on a roadway, and then up a hill and was gone. But we were sitting there examining all of the tracks and everything that it left. Footprint size was 17 and a half inches, which is very large.
Mm-hmm.
And when it started to go up the hill, um, you would think that, bears or whatever, when they go up, they would extend their claws out and kind of dig out and make like dig marks into a hill, right? If you're trying to climb up a hill, a dirt hill. Well, this thing was where where its hands were, it was very smooth. Just like if you put your hand down like this, and it was smooth. Um, the right side was completely smooth like that, and several hand tracks all the way up. The left hand, I think the middle knuckle may have had some sort of arthritis or something in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was extended out kind kind of like that and left an indention all the way up where it went up on that side. So
Wow.
I do think they get arthritis just like we do.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have health ailments like we do. Um, so, but we have figured out they're extremely smart, extremely intelligent, probably more intelligent than we are.
Mm-hmm.
As far as intelligence wise, I don't know of their technology, if they have any, or if they have any need for technology. I don't know that, but they do know tactics, and they have a sense of humor. They have a good sense of humor. They like to scare people the guy kind of like them to kids. They like to scare people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I've heard them talk. That's interesting.
How do they sound? Okay, we've got the samurai chatter sounds and
Very much like that. Yeah. Yeah,
whoa.
very much. Um, every time that I've heard it, it's been a low, grumbly sound where that it's a language, but you can't make out what they're saying because, I think they speak a different language, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you sit down and you listen to it, you can hear, we heard them talk back and forth to each other um, on many occasions. Not just one or two. It's probably been probably five occasions at least
Wow.
that we've heard that. So
Man. Would I
um,
think I asked you this last time, but would you say these things are closer to humans or an ape? I know that's a big debate in the Bigfoot world.
oh yeah, closer to humans.
Hmm.
Yeah, closer to humans. They're certainly much more intelligent than what an ape would be. Although apes are very intelligent. Even though we are apes, technically, I understand we're using ape as in the colloquial term, right?
Hmm.
We're thinking the ape is what's over in Africa and the apes and the chimps.
Hmm.
The gorillas and chimps is what we're referring to. They're much, much, much more intelligent than any. They're like I say, the intelligence levels rivals ours,
Hmm.
if not more so in many ways. Um, they they can speak, so they're built differently than the apes. So if they can talk, they have vocal cords, right? Whereas chimps, they don't have vocal cords.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, they have a sense of humor, right? It's different than ours, but they
Hmm.
do have a sense of humor.
Hmm.
They'll start throwing rocks and stuff at you to try and get your attention. That's all they're doing. Most of the time, that's what they're doing.
Hmm.
Um, they play this game called we call it counting coup here. There's an old Indian uh, it's not really a game. It's something that they did to try and prove themselves as warriors. They would try to go sneak up on a rival warrior and touch one of them without getting caught. And I think they do the same. They do some of the same things. You know,
Hmm.
they try to get up real close to you without you noticing. However, I think that I probably did catch one of the retarded ones, and you, you know, on my first film where he was like caught crawling up on us.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't think he's quite as intelligent as the other ones.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd just be like
and
people. There's some people, maybe not as
yeah,
intelligent as others, and
yeah,
I'm probably one of those people for sure. If I was in the Bigfoot world, I can imagine I would be
no,
crawling up and getting caught
yeah,
very often.
yeah. So, but this guy, he keeps getting caught. I mean, we were just one of the first ones to catch him on film, but other people have caught him, like crawling up on him, and they're like, "Oh, what's
Wow.
that?" And then he crawls off.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's quite the smartest one. Maybe that's why he's in the area that he is.
Hmm.
It's not a area where you can hunt or it's not really a dangerous area. So,
You think the others, the
not
others,
dangerous to them. Yeah.
the others get annoyed with him? They're like, "Man, you've done it
Yeah,
again. Can you
I think so.
stop? We're
It's like,
caught again, man."
yeah, and his name's probably Jeff. Hey, my name's Jeff.
Jeff.
So,
Sorry, any Jeffs listening.
hey, Jeff.
Jeff, get back here. You're a nightmare, Jeff. Do you think there's different types though? Do you think there's some that are
Yeah, I do.
like maybe closer to chimpanzees and things like that, and obviously we've got the dog man as well, which sometimes I think can get
Mhm,
mixed up with Bigfoot sightings. What are your thoughts there
mhm.
with other cryptids like dog man and
Yeah.
things like that?
I've heard enough stories of Dogman to believe it now. Um, and I've also had a lot of conversations with people who were in intelligence. And, I'll leave intelligence to whatever people would want to think it is. But
Hmm.
anyway,
The Men in
I've
Black?
known that I better not have a visit by Men in Black.
That's not good. No,
Just
no,
saying.
yeah, no.
No, I'm just saying it's not going to work out good for somebody that way.
Absolutely,
And I say
yeah.
that into my phone often
Yeah,
because
because
they're always
they
listening.
are listening,
They're always
100%,
listening. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
always listening. So I'll say it into my phone often. I better not have a visit by
Yeah,
somebody in black. It's
absolutely.
not going to work out good for one of us. So, I kind of see what I do is not only harmless but helpful to society. So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
So
Um, but
so I cut
I've
you off.
known.
The people with intelligence. Sorry, man. I think I cut you
Yeah,
off with the Men
yeah.
in
I,
Black.
I I was going back to that. Yeah, I was going back to that. I've known that our government has been able to weaponize space and time for some time. Um, and I've heard rumors of them sending sorties into the past, not just their rumors. Also heard rumors of them opening portals and um, studying creatures in like a secure location. And if it's of no use, they do away with it. If it's interesting, they'll drop it off in our forest somewhere. And who knows? That could be the origins of the dog man. You know,
Hmm.
uh, who knows? Who knows? But there has been stories of werewolves for how long? Long time?
Hundreds and hundreds of years. Yeah, way back in
Long
our
time.
culture.
Yeah.
Italy, France. All the European
Mhm.
countries as well. They all have
Yeah.
these
Particularly.
legends and lore.
Yeah. So, I really think that Dogman is just nothing more than the werewolf. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's right, but you know, I have a difficult time thinking that normal humans transform into a werewolf, right? However, I will say this, there are shapeshifters out there.
Mm-hmm.
They're mimics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, uh, and who's to say that it wasn't one of these shapeshifters that people were seeing long ago? You know, they were human first and then shapeshifted into werewolf or dogman or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I still don't have all the answers, but obviously, I don't think anybody does. If they do,
No.
please call me. I would love to know
Yeah,
the
we want to
answers.
know. We want to,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, but all these legends
Yes,
and lore,
please.
these stories.
Please.
Come on, we need to know. These legends, these
Hmm.
laws, these stories that have
Yeah.
been passed down for
I need to
hundreds and hundreds of
know. I have.
we
Mhm. I have a need to know. If you have all the answers, please call me.
do you think we'll get the
But
answers?
um, I think if you concentrate on one, if we were all able to concentrate on one thing, we would probably find the answers. Now, there there probably are people who do have the answers that are not they're obligated not to say anything. So, um, so I think there are people out there with answers, with equipment that we're not privy to,
Mm-hmm.
and and that leaves the rest of us to fend for ourselves and try to find the answers on our own with our primitive techniques, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, uh, am I going to be able to find the answers? I don't know. I do try to. I do try. I am coming out with a film called Making Contact. I do think we made contact in that film.
Ooh.
Um, oh yes,
What was
oh
that?
yes.
Can I ask you what that was with?
It was at the Land Between the Lakes, and it's Return to the Land Between the Lakes, Making Contact. A fabulous story. I tell you. I brought a psychic in, a white witch, right? And we had hooked her up to this thing that we colloquially refer to as a God helmet. And what it does is it electronically sends you into a state of mind, much like what LSD would, right? So, but it does it electronically instead of chemically. So we put her on this helmet for about 20 minutes. It kind of opens up your mind to whatever is out there, right? Um, And then we did an Estes method immediately following that. And for those that don't know what an Estes method is, you're hooked up to a ghost box that's in your ears, and then you're put on noise canceling headphones over that, and then you're blindfolded. So you don't have any external visual or audio stimuli. All you can hear is what's coming through the ghost box, through your headphones, through your little headphones. So we hooked her up to that. And we had somebody asking her questions, externally. Now she can't hear the questions, but uh, she was able to channel these two teenagers that were murdered in that location. And we got this story of how they were murdered, and um, it was very, very graphic, very sad. There were two of our teammates. They couldn't watch. They literally had to walk away because it was so heart-wrenching. And these girls that were coming through our psychic, um, they were answering the questions. It was like a conversation that was going on, right? And um, they were scared. They were scared to go toward the light, right? But eventually, eventually, our psychic did convince them, or not the psychic, but the guy answering asking the questions, Trey Hudson, he was able to guide them toward the light. And through the psychic, we were able to learn that yes, they did enter the light. And after these two young ladies entered the light, um, it was dead silence. Trey would try to ask a question, nothing. You
Whoa.
know, the connection was lost. But
Wow.
Tommy, it's a beautiful sight. And when I get that edited and put on, it's going to be it's so fascinating.
Yeah,
And
man.
quite frankly, if you don't shed a tear, you might not be human.
Yeah. Wow. And that sounds like they've entered heaven. They've gone to the other side and connection's lost. Do you think that?
They've gone to the other side for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think they went to the other side. They were scared to go to the other side because they thought that the guy that killed them would be there, would be waiting on them. And
Oh, man.
for the longest time, they felt safer just lurking around, the forest where we were. So
Wow.
it was very difficult to watch. I had never experienced anything like that,
Hmm.
and it was kind of one of a kind experience, and I'm so glad I was able to catch that on video.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
yeah, yeah, it'll be coming up in a new film that we've got coming out, and it'll probably be at least a year before it's out.
We're looking forward to that one, man. That sounds
Oh,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah, and the whole film is chopped full of uh, making contact moments.
Hmm.
So our Rake experience will be in this one. So
Oh,
where
man.
we saw this Rake just charging toward us,
Whoa.
and yeah, that encounter was it kind of scary actually,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I took a group of women out into the forest, right? And we had went out before, and they were real passive, singing songs and lullabies and being all, just peaceful, and nothing happened. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And I was like, hey, ladies, look, we're trying to push the envelope here. Let's do something that's, not so passive. So they went out just growling and taking charge and challenging things, whatever's there, right? And just immediately they get responses. They would growl and you would hear a boom, boom, boom. These big thunderous booms would go, and you could feel it in your body, right? And there's things just like moving around in the woods, and it's kind of restless, and as Natalie sees this portal start to form and open up, right? And then these things crawl out of it, and they're just sitting there, just being weird, they're just being weird. Yeah, and of course, I'm not seeing any of this because I'm looking into a display screen. It's like this big, and I'm like trying to get the girls on camera, right? And there's some of them that's getting zapped where they're getting sick, and oh my God, I'm about to throw up, so they have to huddle together and just try to counter all of that. And then I just happen to kind of look up to where they're seeing these rakes and stuff, and then I see one charging at us. It's just like doing this gallopy. Yeah, oh my God, it was weird. And I was so startled. I mean, I pulled my weapon. I was so startled. I'd never done that before, ever. This whole time I've been doing this, I've never pulled a weapon except that one time. And before I could get my weapon pulled, Natalie sees it and she pulls out her bear spray and she nails it with bear spray. Now that does repel it. What happened to it after then, I don't know. Uh, but I mean, that encounter also in this same film. You know, we were trying to push the envelope to make contact with whatever was there, right? Oh, we made contact.
Well, and that's do you
Absolutely.
see this creature in the film?
Um, what I don't know is one, you know, what I'm using is a short range um, night camera, right?
Hmm.
And I don't, it happened so fast. I don't know if the camera picked it up or not. Um, because I had the camera in my right hand. I'm right-handed, right?
Hmm.
So I look up over my shoulder, right? And I see it. And I'm like, oh God, there it is. There it is. And I'm having to change hands with the camera, right? To pull up, I keep my weapon right here, to pull out my weapon, right? So I do know for a fact that there's a dead moment right there. The camera shuts off, it shuts back on, turns back on by itself
Whoa.
at that exact moment. At that exact moment. I don't, and I didn't do any of the buttons
Hmm.
because if it did, I would have turned it off and it would have just been off, right? No. So, but I have tried to go back and look at that, but I was still having a little bit of PTSD from it.
Hmm.
So I couldn't bring myself to just do all of the manipulation to see if you could actually make out the creature or not.
Hmm.
So it, in a long story made short, I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't been
Hmm.
able to because it was kind of traumatizing.
Yeah, man, I imagine. Yeah, and as you say, there could be something there that you could find in one of the
There could
stills or
be.
something. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, there absolutely could be. Yeah, I'm not saying that there's not. There
Hmm.
could be. It's you know because we find things all the time. Well, I say all the time. We do find things that we didn't see with our
Hmm.
eyes.
Hmm.
However, I did see this with my eyes.
Hmm.
Uh, just like in the Legend of the Downey Booger, our first film, we caught that crawler. You know, I'm Jeff. You know, we caught him,
The
right?
Jeff Bigfoot.
Yeah, yeah, we caught the Jeff crawler, right?
Yeah,
Well,
and that was a
uh,
Squatch. That was a Squatch.
yeah, that was Squatch. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. You know, you can see its shoulder. I mean, it's actually pretty big. You
Hmm.
know, thinking it maybe not be an adult. You know, because it just didn't take the precautions that an adult would,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But anyway,
You did share what
so
the rake looked like last time. You did. I'm sure you did share it. But
yeah,
for the listeners, can you share
yeah.
what that kind of looked like again, if you don't mind?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, keep in mind it's nighttime, and there's a little bit of a moon out, but when this thing was crawling, it was in the shadows, in the shadows of of the moonlight, right? Okay, so completely hairless. I will say that completely hairless. It was very smooth. His arms were real tiny, were just real spindly looking arms and a little bit oversized hands, right? For the size of the arms. Um, and the legs were the same. The limbs was very spindly. Its torso was what it wasn't gigantic or anything. Probably the humans roughly human size, but its head, I mean, imagine its body, parallel to the ground. Its neck comes, kind of comes up, and then its head was also looking parallel to the ground, almost looking like that. Just
Whoa. Yeah.
weird looking. Uh, so and then when this thing crawling, at sort of like a gallop, and it's very hard to describe um, because I mean, it happened like that,
Hmm.
and you're trying to process everything. The color could have been like a dark gray. Um, it wasn't white. I can tell you that it wasn't white like you would normally see a rake, or think of a rake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but it did have but it was humanoid. It was humanoid because it had like a human sorta like head,
Mm-hmm.
sorta. Again, all hairless. Um,
Man.
I didn't get a good look at the face or anything. Um, so unfortunately, I can't give you the details on that.
Mm-hmm. And Natalie, you say Natalie saw it coming out of the portal or possible portal?
Well, there was three of them that came out of the portal. Now,
Oh,
it didn't
man.
immediately charge,
Mm-hmm.
and she said the other two were just still up, kind of hanging out around the portal and just sitting there, just moving, just all weird and stuff. And I just happened to kind of look over and see this one charging at us.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
so yeah, so she saved it from having 17 10 millimeter size holes in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, and do you think, I know it's difficult to know, but do you think that would stop a creature like that? I know it's hard
I
to
don't know.
know.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I don't know. But it is an emotional support pew pew. I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It
Whether
helps.
or not it would, yeah, yeah, it helps. Whether or not it would stop a creature like that, I don't know. But I will say this: bear spray affected it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
repelled it.
interesting.
Bear spray, yeah. So bear spray, yeah, did repel it, and it repelled us too. We had to evacuate too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
man, come on, it's bear spray. I mean, for anybody who hasn't been sprayed with bear spray, oh my God, it's pretty rough. So.
And so many people see these things. So many people have these encounters with these
hmm
creatures. I've talked to a lady called Jeannie that saw one of these creatures come out of the ground, literally arms out there, like a horror movie, like out of the ground, and obviously she was out of there. I've
Wow.
spoke to many people that have seen things like this. That
hmm hmm
raked. We give the term rake is a name that's used very often. Who knows what these creatures
hmm
are? But it's very interesting, man.
Right. And what's interesting is that even though I was filming a ghost film a few weeks ago, uh, I, I I did actually start on another film called. It's going to be focused on portals, and we went
Ooh.
to a property where this lady says that she saw a portal and a rake come out of this portal thing, right? And she actually saw this thing. So we were there, like, interviewing her, trying to get a leg up on a film way down the road about portals, right? So,
Interesting.
and that is to me was more vindication for me, just for me personally, because Natalie said she saw these things crawl out of a portal, and um, that is this other lady also says this rake came out of a portal. Well, to me, that's two reports of rakes coming out of a portal,
Hmm.
right? So to me, it was validating to me that they're not from here. They come here for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe they hunt, maybe it's vacation, who knows?
Hmm. Hmm.
But they're not from here. And I think that explains why we don't see the bodies after they're deceased, and all these other remains and stuff. And I think that it explains why we don't see a lot of
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And also our own government has recently come out and said that interdimensional beings exist. They do, just 100%. They do.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and again, that's validation for the work that me and my team has been doing. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, yeah. And also, another member of our team, Adam Davis, has seen a portal and has seen two creatures walk walk out of a portal. And and that happened for 2 nights in a row where they essentially did battle with these creatures, him and another guy named John. It's a fascinating story. And he has told it a few times, but he'll tell it again on our Portals film. It is my goal to be able to go there. And if we see it, I want to fly a drone through the portal.
Oh,
That's my goal.
that is a great
That's
idea.
my goal. That's my
Oh,
goal.
that is a great idea. I don't think I've ever heard that. And that is a great idea because I think talking to you actually, we last time we mentioned that there were two guys that went into the portal and unfortunately they got very sick straight after. And that that
Unfortunately.
that story's out there. We talked about it last time as well.
Mhm.
So maybe it is because people say, "Would you go into a portal if you saw a portal?" And my answer is no, because I'm too scared. But I know a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I'd be straight in." But that is a great idea, a drone in there, because hopefully that
Right.
can last the whatever the effects might be.
You're right. Number one, if the portal closes, I'm not stuck over there
Yeah,
wherever it is.
that's my big fear.
Two,
Yeah.
yeah. Two, who says that portals are two-way? You don't know
Ah.
that. You don't
Uh-huh.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. And three, who knows that wherever it's going, who says it's the same atmosphere and everything that we have here on Earth?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could go over there and it's like a Jupiter or something, and then you'll be crushed, or, just to be like Mars, and, your eyes explode and you can't breathe and all that
Mm-hmm.
other stuff. So it would be foolish to me to travel to a portal.
Absolutely. And if you come back through, who knows if you're actually coming back to the same place?
Where,
There
yeah,
might be slight
hey, no,
changes.
you're right. You're right. Who says that when you come back through that you're going to end up at Earth? I mean,
Yeah.
you might end up at Alpha Centauri or something,
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
never tell.
It might seem similar,
They'll
but
put you in
it's
a zoo.
yeah.
Yeah, they'll put you in one of their zoos.
You'll be there
You
with
know?
Jeff. Jeff will be there. You'll be like, Jeff, what are
Yeah,
you doing here? You went through the
Jeff.
portal as well. I knew you would go through the
Be
portal,
there with
Jeff.
Jeff.
That sounds fascinating though, man. I'm very excited to if you can get if you can get a drone through a portal, that would be
hmm
incredible. Bro.
hmm I do. I know where a few of them are, the portals.
Hmm.
So, and I'm gonna keep those locations secret. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna reveal those
absolutely.
locations
Absolutely,
because
man.
they would be inundated with people, and it would be irresponsible of me because somebody might end up missing.
Hmm.
Somebody would be foolish enough to walk through the portal and do do
Yeah.
do do do.
And let's face it, that
All
might
of a
be,
sudden, there they are.
yeah, that might be what
Yeah,
some of these cases are. When people just
yeah.
vanish without a
Actually,
trace.
100%. I think that's what some of these are. Some of them,
Hmm.
they're a small percentage, but absolutely, you're 100% right. I do think that some of these people that go missing without a trace or just completely vanish into thin air happen to walk through a portal.
Hmm. Hmm. When you've got these skilled hunters that have spent their life, in the forest, they know exactly what they're doing. They don't make mistakes and they go missing. I know things can happen, natural things, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense how they can go completely missing. Not a blood drop, not any item of clothing. They're gone, vanish. It doesn't make sense that,
hmm
and that does make sense. They've gone into a portal and they're gone. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, what in filming The Vanished, I've come to several conclusions or several reasons as to why people go vanished. One is just the mundane, of course. The mundane is everything human. You fall off into a hole, or you get murdered, or whatever. Uh, but two, one of these cryptids gets you, and three, you fall into a portal. You walk into a portal. So, I do think all of those are possible.
Hmm.
And for a very minute few, the latter of those three is very possible.
Hmm. Absolutely, man. So something we didn't get into last time you was on. Well, you've got a famous nickname, Mr.
Moist.
Moist.
Mr. Moist.
And
Oh, absolutely.
I kind of got to ask you where that came from, man.
Well, um, again, I have a tendency to be playful when I'm in group, right? And whenever somebody tells when they're talking, I do listen intently, and I happen to learn that one of my friends hated the word moist. Okay, so I filed that away in the back of the files, right? I'm like, okay, remember that. So, I'd be walking through the grocery store and I see Duncan Hines cake mix, right? Super moist. I'd take a picture of the moist part, right? And just randomly send her just random text that all the word they say is moist. Moist. I'll type out the word moist. Super moist. Because she hated the word moist, right? So, yeah, and then it started, they've got a podcast, The Blondes and Booze, and
Oh,
I would
yeah.
get it. Yeah, Krista on Blondes and Booze, right? She
Hmm.
hates the word moist. So anybody who watches that show, if you're in chat, say moist. Type it out. So I would get in there and I would type moist. She would read it and then, she would get all kind of flustered and that's how I became Mr. Moist.
Wow. That's awesome, man. It's not a bad
Mhm.
word. It's not too bad.
No,
Moist.
no,
So,
no, not at
Mis-
all.
Mr. Moist is on Let's Get Freaky. Yeah, people are
Right,
going to
right,
think this is the wrong show. This is not that
right,
sort of show. Okay, this
right,
is
right.
this is ghost cryptids and UFOs.
And they just happen to be just extra wet,
Yeah,
just moist.
so that's stuck with you. That name now. That's now
It
you're
did.
now Mr. Moist.
It did. I even have a shirt that says moist on
Oh,
it.
I love it, man. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
the people need to
that's
go
the
give those guys a 5-star review and just leave the word moist
exactly.
underneath the review. That'd be great.
Exactly. If you give the Blondes and Booze a review at all, please tell them Mr. Moist sent
Yeah,
you.
just that's it. Just put Mr. Moist, 5 stars, of course, and then Mr. Moist.
That is right. You know, and, and there's nothing like flatulent jokes, and he,
Yeah, yeah,
and I always carry me a portable speaker with me, right? A little Bluetooth speaker.
yeah.
And it just happened to be that when we were on expedition this past weekend, a guy brings his stepdaughter in. Well, she's 13. Hmm. So she gets in a little camping chair, and I go back to, my my joke van, and I pull out the little portable speaker, and I get my fart app on there. Hmm. So I just
You're
like,
my kind of
hey,
guy.
Lily, how are you doing? And just kind of nonchalantly put it in the back of her chair where she doesn't notice, and then go to the other side of the campfire and just go, you know. So while she's
Oh,
like, yeah, kind of picking her leg up, kind of hiking up her leg to cross her legs, right? I timed it perfectly, perfectly. Burn? Her eyes got this big around like, that was not me. I did it again. Brr. We were all dying laughing.
oh man, I love it. You're
Yeah, so
you're
it's stuff
definitely
like
my
that.
you are definitely my guy, man. You are on my level.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's 13, right? So like,
Uh,
okay, you're 1 year ahead of me in maturity.
oh, I love it, man. I love it. I'd love to come out with you guys. Sounds like you have a blast. I know
Oh man.
you get some incredible evidence, but you kind of mentioned it last time.
Mhm.
And you said it was very important is the intention that you put in,
It is.
and that
It
is
is.
why you get the evidence that you get because it's good intentions, yeah, and it's good, it's
It
good
is.
energy, good
It is.
energy.
And I think that's another reason, another one of the reasons why, we have lots of hunters here, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why they don't see a whole lot, is because when they go out, they have the intention of killing something, right?
Hmm.
Which, they're trying to put food on the table. But then again, if they see a Bigfoot or something like that, they would very likely shoot it. Uh, Even though there have been reports of hunters who have had some in their crosshairs and saw the face and said, "Oh, this is too human. I can't,
Hmm.
yeah, I can't bring myself to shoot one." And I do not advocate, shooting really anything to prove anything's existence. Why does something have to die to
Hmm.
do that? I mean, for me personally, I know that they exist. I'm not a believer. I know they are. I know
Hmm.
they are. And I just try to share my experiences. And if some people can believe them or not, it, I'm not trying to convince them. I'm just trying to share experiences.
Hmm.
However, there are some people out there who chase fame. Um, so that's the only reason for really wanting to prove one's existence, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
So is for personal fame. I'm not in it for that.
Hmm.
I'm in it to share stories, to educate people on the existence of not only Bigfoot but I mean there's other things out there as well.
Hmm.
Ghosts are real. I'm sorry, I've seen one. I'm not a believer in ghosts. I've seen one. They're
Hmm.
real. I don't know what they are. They're ghosts. I'm just going to call them ghosts.
Hmm.
Orbs are real. I may know her. And if you see my film, The Vanished, you'll see one too because they're in there. We've got a very, very good 5 minute or so clip of just nothing but watching orbs. You'll see these green orbs,
Whoa, that's
and
cool, man.
you'll see what we see out on investigation. So
Can you
to
share?
look for the,
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
man. No, no, you go. Sorry, man.
I was going to say you can look for that on Tubi very soon.
Hmm. Is it is it
It'll be
May?
out.
Is it May that's coming out? I think I saw.
Um, well, in May we're going to be doing a special showing at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Festival in Townsend, Tennessee.
Oh.
We've already had like a premiere for it, and I have uploaded it to our film distributor, and Tubi has accepted it as well as Amazon, but it takes them some time to be able to add it to their platform. So
Hmm.
we're just waiting on it to be added to their platform. It's already been accepted. It's just a matter of time now.
Oh,
So
can't wait. We can't wait to see
yeah.
that, man. Can you just share the, I don't know if you shared the ghost story last time. Would you be able to share that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, the ghost stories. We were out orb watching, and this is when orbs was rather new to me. And coincidentally, one of the times I got within arm's reach of one. But we were at this place in central western Georgia, um, and again we're out orb watching, and it's a foggy night, um, but the fog is laying low to the ground, maybe within 5 feet of the ground, so within 2.5 meters or so of the ground, or 1.5 meters. I'm sorry. So just out of thin air, and this is Creek territory, Creek Indian territory. It's where there was a tribe there, Creek tribe, and this Indian on a horse materialized in front of both me and Janice. Janice, she was a lady in our group, and it rode across a field. It got to a tree line and then it disappeared. We saw it vanish, right?
Whoa.
So we saw it appear, ride, and then disappear. and we could see all the details. He was wearing buckskin pants, moccasins, no shirt, some kind of something around the head with maybe a, I don't know if it was a feather or something that was kind of sticking up in the back. Um, but I mean, it was as solid as you and I when it was there. And how we know is our buddy Brent didn't see it, right? He was like looking off somewhere else. Do, 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 do. I don't know where he was looking. So we're like, "Hey, Brent, go right over there. Go, just stand there for a few minutes." He's like, "Okay, do, 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 do." So he walks over there, and the opacity, the solidness, so to speak, uh, is the exact same as the Indian on the horse. So that's how we were able to figure or determine that it was as solid as we are, right?
Wow.
And he's like, "Well, I'm over here." And it's like, "That's where we just saw a ghost." And you sent me over here. But
Wow.
but it's interesting to know, I didn't believe in ghosts until I saw it. I
Hmm.
didn't believe that. I'm like, it's a bunch of hooey until I saw one.
Wow. And that's cool that two of you saw it as well. I know it's cool when we have these experiences and we're on our own. We know we're seeing something strange, but
Mhm,
when there's two people seeing the same thing,
mhm.
that is completely undeniable then. You know,
Yeah.
you can't say that's my brain, you
Right.
can't say.
Hmm. And it's rare that I have any of my experiences alone. The only one that the well, and even this, there was another witness to it. The portal that I saw. There was another witness that saw the portal, although she didn't see the portal was very much two-dimensional, right? So she saw just the light that was emanating from both sides of the portal, right? She didn't she didn't move to a position where it was more perpendicular to the portal, and she didn't see into it like I did. But that's the only one where there was no other witnesses. Everywhere else there was other witnesses.
Hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
very rare that I have some of these experiences just
Was
myself.
was that the window one that you said you saw?
Yeah, it's the window one. Yeah,
That
yeah.
was incredible.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you shared
And
that
as a
last
matter,
time. That was
yeah,
incredible.
and as a matter of fact, since then, I um I have been in contact with people who was at the very same place, and they've got FLIR footage of a portal.
Is that like a window shape as well?
Yep, yep, and it's a box.
Whoa,
It's a box. Hmm.
man. I think I did ask you this last time, but can you remember what was on the other side of the portal? Was it?
Yeah, okay. Where we were was roughly midnight-ish, 1 o'clock, something like that, middle of the night. Very cold at the very butt end of winter, right? And so it was in March. Okay, so still all the vegetation was dead, right? There was no vegetation on any of the trees or anything. So you're able to see a long ways through the forest. Looking into the portal where it was daylight, completely opposite of where we were. It was daylight. That's what caught my attention. And it was like a very lush, jungly like environment. So it was very, very lush green. And I was in disbelief sitting there looking at it. And I still have a hard time believing it, but I mean, it was there.
Hmm.
So, um,
Wow. Would you
I
jump
don't know
through?
where, yeah, I'm sorry.
Would you have jumped through if you had the chance?
No, no,
I don't blame. No, I wouldn't.
no,
No.
nay, 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 no, sir. I'd already told myself if I ever did see one, that I would not get
Hmm.
into it because I had already knew about the two people that passed away from
Yes.
walking into one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I'm not walking in that. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Nope.
And who knows as well, if you're seeing like a beautiful scene, that might be something trying to invite you in, you know?
Well, I mean, it was jungly. I wouldn't
Hmm.
say it was beautiful. It was lush. What I mean by
Hmm.
lush, it was lots of vegetation there, lots
Hmm.
of green vegetation. It would be very difficult to walk through that. Uh,
Okay.
do you guys have kudzu over there? And
What is that? Sorry, man. Kudzu.
kudzu? Okay, kudzu is a vine that, for whatever reason, uh, people here many years ago brought from Japan to help with erosion. It grows like a foot a day, and it kind of, kind of resembles ivy, sort of, kind
Okay.
of. You know, okay, if you look into it like a real thick ivy patch, that's what I would liken what I saw, but with trees and stuff.
Okay.
Um, but extremely, it didn't look like either one, but that's, I guess,
Hmm.
the best way I can describe it.
So
Very
it would be
dark
difficult
green.
to walk through it. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be very difficult to walk through that. So I
Oh,
don't know, hmm
fascinating. Fascinating stuff, brother. The other thing I've got written down here from our last interview that you mentioned at the end last time. Oh, before I ask you that, sorry, man. I know I've
Oh,
kept you nearly 2 hours, and I really appreciate your time, man. The gin that
sorry.
you have that surround
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Uh, have you seen that? Is-
I have seen her. Um, I have seen her. Uh, During meditative sessions, I was like, okay, I was trying to ask it its name. Well, they don't have names. They go off of frequency. That's how they recognize each other, right? Um, ev Everybody vibrates just a little bit differently, right? Even with them, you know. So that's how they recognize each other, apparently, from what I was told or what I uh, got from this meditative session. Um, but I said, okay, I wasn't getting anywhere with a name, so I said, will you show me what you look like? And I got a clear picture. Okay, okay, imagine, have you ever seen the X-Men show?
yes. Yep.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Mystique that's on the X-Men? She's the blue girl with slick back
Yes.
hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Imagine Mystique, um, charcoal black, but not as voluptuous as her, just very angular features about her. Very long fingers, charcoal black but shiny. Eyes were gold, and what would pass for hair slicked back, right? Um, I guess you would say, as far as charcoal people go, gens, whatever you want to call them,
Hmm.
attractive. Uh, but I also learned that they're not really male or female, but if you had to assign a gender to this one, it would be female. Um,
Wow.
so I got a very good look in my mind's eye about
Hmm.
what she looks like.
Interesting. And she's always around, you think?
Yeah, she says she's always around. And apparently I've got a job to do, and what I do is dangerous from what she says. And she does her best to keep all the bad things away. Y- You know,
Interesting.
like with all these other entities, they're not all good. There's some bad ones out there, just
Hmm.
like people.
Hmm.
There's some good ones, there's some bad ones, and you have to
Absolutely.
be, yeah, you have to be very careful, especially if you don't know all these other entities, right? Um, because we're inexperienced with them. We're difficult to tell the good ones from the bad ones. So what she has taken upon herself is to try to keep all the bad ones away and protect me from them, um, because she wants me to help to show that there's other entities out there, right? To help educate other people that there's other entities, and to help raise the vibration of man. So for whatever's coming, there's something coming. I don't know what it is. There's something
Hmm.
coming. I think a lot of people can feel it, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so for the upcoming event, to raise the vibration so that we can evolve. But for the most part, is letting other people know that yes, there are other entities out there. Some of these old legends are there for a reason because they're true. They might have told them in the vocabulary and the intellect that they had at the time, uh, but it doesn't invalidate that they're real, right? So you just have to interpret what they saw in the language that they could put it in.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Absolutely, man.
yeah.
But we
So
definitely are in an area a time in the world right now where you're right. It does feel like
yeah,
I know it's crazy right now, but it does feel like something
yeah,
could happen at any
yeah,
moment.
yeah. I think there's a change coming. I don't know exactly what it is, um, and I don't know exactly when it is. It might be in my lifetime, it might not be. But there is something in the future coming, and you have to get enough of mankind to raise their vibration in order to move forward.
Hmm.
And you know, we may experience some of these non-human entities in the very near future, and it's important to know how to react to them. Uh, because we're not the top of the food chain, so to speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so what I'm doing is, according to her, what I'm doing is can be very dangerous because there are some entities that don't want us to evolve,
Hmm.
right? And they try to harm people like me and uh, and others, just like the scientists out there.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it depends on
Absolutely,
how
man.
important you get, I get, right? So
Yeah.
you have to be very careful.
I don't want to get
Uh,
that important.
yeah, well, neither do I, and neither do
But
I.
we are definitely like in a spiritual battle, and there's definitely
Mhm,
good and evil. Obviously, good and evil is everywhere. But you're
mhm.
right, man, and it makes a lot of sense what you're saying,
Yeah,
especially when you
yeah,
look at how the world's going, and yeah,
yeah.
everyone's saying
It,
it, especially
yeah.
in our world.
Oh, absolutely. It, it, Bigfoots are real. Don't know what they are, um, but they're 100% real. Rakes are real. Didn't think they were, but they are. Orbs are real. Aliens are real. All this stuff is real, and at some point uh, we have to come to terms with that these things are real,
Hmm.
and figure out how are we going to proceed, you know. So I think that's going to be one of our biggest questions moving
Yeah.
forward. How are we going to proceed with this information, knowing that all of these things are real? So I think that's one of my missions, is to just let people know uh, they're real. They're not exactly out to harm you, although there are some bad ones.
Be
You have
vigilant.
to use your discernment. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to use this discernment. So
Well, you're doing it, man, and you're getting these incredible results. So you're definitely doing that. Wow,
well,
brother. I've
you
got
had
one
one
more
more
thing.
question.
I have got one more question. That would have been a good spot to end it because you rounded it up so nicely. But last time you mentioned missing time
Yes.
and having missing time whilst on investigations. Is that
Mhm.
something that's happened a lot?
I wouldn't say it happened a lot. It has happened, but not a lot. Um, Looking back, I think that they were probably the result of being around a portal and not knowing it, because I think these portals do things to space and time, like warp it somehow.
Hmm.
And from our, and again, this happened with Janice and I at one of the same locations where we saw the ghost and the orbs, and we found Jeff. Kind of the same location, right? So we go out and we're watching orbs, right? Well, we thought we were there for 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And when we come back, her son and our camera guy, Brent, uh, they were back at camp, and they had asked us, "Why were you guys gone so long?" I'm like, "We wasn't gone long. We was gone an hour or so." Well, we're sitting there debating this. And then it came up that they heard us talking. They heard us talking right outside of Firelight. So they thought that we had only went, maybe 50 to 75 feet away and was just sitting there talking. I'm like, no, we were quarter mile down the road, down the trail, watching orbs, right? That's what we were doing. And we saw this big purpley looking thing, and these orbs was coming in and out of it. I didn't think it was a portal at the time. Maybe that was a portal. I don't know. But it kind of makes sense now, because as we were sitting there debating how long we were gone, now when we left, it was about midnight, 11:30ish. So now, when we were sitting there debating this, the sky started to lighten up and the sun was about to come up. So we were literally gone about 5 hours at
Whoa.
least. But from our perspective, we were not gone, but maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow. That's a lot of missing time.
It was a good bit of missing time, good bit. And again, looking back on things, I think it was probably a portal that we had encountered, but didn't know what it was at the time, right?
Hmm.
Because and now we saw these orbs that was kind of go moving in and out from it, right? Um, but I think it was our proximity to that possible portal that caused this time dilation or whatever. So this missing time.
Interesting. Wow, man. Because that's the other possibility with these portals is, yeah, who knows if there is a complete time difference if you
Hmm.
walk into one of these things.
Right.
And if you're
And
close to it, does that affect? Yeah.
yeah, and I will say that I think some of these portals are natural and some are opened by technology.
Hmm. Well, my mum
Uh,
lives very close to CERN. She lives in France, but she's very 40 minutes away from CERN. And we know the
Bless her
kind of
heart.
things that they might do there. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
But yeah, I think that they're both technology and naturally occurring.
Hmm.
The creatures that Adam Davis saw come out of the portal had like this, it was almost like a small bubble of atmosphere around them, right? Uh, like they were keeping their own atmosphere real close to them. He said you could see this small little bubble around them, right? That kind of conformed to their body, but um, with extended out some from their body, and
Interesting.
it happened to both. It was on both of them. So he thinks that portal was opened up through technology
Hmm.
instead of
Interesting.
being natural.
Possibly on the other side or possibly on our side. That is wild, man.
Yeah.
Brother, interesting stuff. Thank you so much for coming back on, sharing so much more.
Well,
It's
Tommy, it was a pleasure.
you've done well, we've 2 hours we've done. I appreciate your time so much,
No
man.
worries.
And you are
No
welcome
worries.
on Let's Get Freaky anytime, and I hope you come back on and talk more. Excited for the new movie that's coming out very soon.
Thank you.
Can you tell the listeners where they can find you and your awesome work?
Yes, you can find our channel on YouTube, Relic Films Media, and we put out blurby stuff every once in a while that's other than films. And we have a Facebook page that you can go over and follow us. Please like and subscribe, not describe, subscribe or prescribe, whatever you want to do. You want pills, get some prescriptions there too. You can get all of that, you know. Uh, but like and subscribe, and that really helps us to punch out more video, more content, and it's not all serious stuff. We do like to gag and play tricks and all kinds of stuff. So we like to make people laugh. We're entertainers. So,
Hmm.
but one thing is we're very serious about when we're actually filming with some of the films. I'm very serious because of some, it is there is an inherent danger. Anyway, you can find me personally on Facebook, Greg Ogles. Easy to find, and I won't bite hard. I might bite, but not hard. Um, but just if you feel free to have any questions or anything like that, I normally respond fairly quickly and love talking about this kind of stuff. So, especially the people across the pond. If you're across the pond and you write me, you might not be able to understand the accent that I type back. So,
We can understand, man. 100%.
well, I am fluent in redneck. That is one thing I am fluent in. I promise you. I can talk like the best of them. I can go down yonder to the store and get some French fries and do all kinds of stuff. And taters.
You're an absolute
Hey,
legend, brother. Thank you so much for your time again, man. And as I say,
sure.
you're welcome on Let's Get Freaky anytime, brother. And I hope to get you back on very soon to talk more because it's fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for all the great
Anytime, I
work you
appreciate
do,
it.
man. Thank you. And I'm very excited for this next one as well. It sounds fascinating. Drone inside a portal is going to be incredible.
We're
Incredible.
gonna
You
try.
heard it here
We're
first.
gonna try.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please share it where you can. That is a great way to support the podcast. And we'll be back very soon for more freaky conversations. In the meantime, stay safe and keep it freaky. Bye for now. Thank you very much, brother.
All right. Stay weird.